Hi, it looks like I'm live. Came on a little bit earlier because, as you know, let me put this down. As you know, in the future, I've had some problems with going online, so I like to come up a couple of minutes early just to see if everything works and make sure everything's looking good. Well, hello everyone. I'm Eric, and this is my Sunday night teacher talk. And I think tonight is a little bit different than most of the other nights. Actually, usually I have a topic and I ask the audience for a topic to talk about, but today I don't have a topic. I thought, you know what? Let's just talk about stuff. I'll talk about what I've been doing recently, what I'm planning for the future. I'll take any questions from you, any teacher related questions that I'll be happy to share. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments, put your name in the comments. Can everybody hear me well? I hope so. I see some people are up. Yeah, I don't have any topics planned for tonight. I thought because you know what, on Friday I went to Seoul. I live in the middle of Korea, and I went up to Seoul to shoot a live stream. It's a live seminar for another channel, and it was kind of intimidating because I've always had my computer here. I've always done things from home, and this was the first time I had to go up to a professional setting and go and talk there, go and speak there, and I had my lecture prepared. So it was a little stressful, but it's good to have that stress and do something new, because that's how we learn and that's how we become more experienced. But I thought I'd do something. I'm so happy that I've been doing these Sunday teacher talks, because it actually prepared me for that. Because every week I would have a topic, I would prepare, and then I would come out here and talk with you guys. So I'm really happy that I did that. The stream itself, usually on this channel, I probably get 10 to 20 viewers coming on at a time. And then usually I get 100 to 150 views on the teacher talk. Whereas with that video, we had probably 250 people on at the same time. And I think almost 4,000 views. So that's when someone watches and leaves and comes back. So yeah, very, very happy with that. That's been my largest audience. And I think from now on, I'm going to keep chasing those large audiences. But I've decided to do things a little bit different today. I'm just gonna sit here. I'm gonna talk. When people start coming in, I'll take your questions and I'll give you an answer. So if you're here, just put your question down below, and I'll talk about it. Otherwise, while I'm just sitting here shooting the breeze, moving around a lot, I notice. Let me just get comfortable without showing my legs, maybe. Yeah, so I thought, while I'm sitting around, I'll talk. Hi, this is Big Data. Hi, Big Data. I thought, wow, Big Data is here talking with me. Yeah, Big Data or anybody else out there, if you've got any questions, put them in the comments below. Anything about teaching, I'll be happy to help. Yeah, I'm so relaxed now, because for the past 2, 3 weeks, I've had these things to do. Abdelazim, welcome. If you have any questions, put it in the comments. I'll be happy to answer. Yeah, actually, I've had a crazy couple of weeks, these last 3 weeks, because 3 weeks ago, I started with my Zoom content, or maybe a month ago. I started with my Zoom content, and I put out a lot of videos about Zoom. And then I decided, some of my friends started doing courses on Udemy, where you can go and do an online course. And that's something I've been wanting to do in the future, but I thought, why not do a course on Zoom to practice a little bit? Your students, they don't listen to me. What age are your students? What are you teaching, Big Data? Yeah, because I think, it's really difficult. It doesn't start, when you start going into a classroom, the students are very wary. They're kind of checking you out, trying to see what kind of teacher you are. Are you a leader? Are they going to listen to you? Do you give them structure? Do you give them rules? Do you enforce those rules? So the first thing you have to remember is, when any teacher walks into a classroom, the students will kind of give them a respect, because they don't really know them. 10 to 15. Well, big data. I'll get back to your question. Carlos said you're watching my Zoom videos. Actually, the thing is, Zoom. Carlos, about Zoom. I've only put out a couple of videos, just general videos. But actually, today I started shooting some videos on lessons that you can do with the students. I shot it today with some students, some games and activities that you can do on Zoom. Um, and big data. So, like I said, when you first start class, you're supposed to give them rules and boundaries, and you should tell them exactly what you expect from them. I think I'll make a video about it, about what kind of rules you made. But I'm actually, and this comes back to the point of Nazi. Nazi, hi Nazi. Uh, uh, a fantastic book about teaching is called The First Days of School by Harry Wong. Big data. This is a fantastic book because it tells you exactly how to start your class and what rules to use. Maybe I will make a video about that in the future. I think that's very important. And basically, they suggest having these rules and enforcing them, because the thing is, students come into your classroom for the first time and you have to give them these rules and these boundaries. And when they make a mistake, you should enforce it and discipline them. Now, you've already had them, I'm guessing, for a couple of months, because students over time, they start acting out and they start testing you. And I think maybe teachers maybe fail, especially if you're new to teaching. It takes you a couple of years to get used to this. But big data, what I suggest you do is I think you need to restart with the students. What do I mean by that? You need to go. I think first of all, watch this book, read, or I listen to audiobooks. This book, The First Days of School by Harry Wong. Listen to that. Yeah, Gurav. Nice to see you too. So, big data. Read that book, The First Days of School, and then what I want you to do is I want you to restart your class from the start. Have a list of rules. Now, rules, you shouldn't have more than 5 basic class rules, but you should explain each rule to the student. So, get the 5 basic rules of how they should behave in your class, put them somewhere where they can see, explain it to them, and tell them from now on you're going to be very strict, because obviously this isn't working. They're not listening to you, and you're going to have to be stricter about it. Um, okay, yeah. So big data. I'd like to talk about this more. I think it's very important. But just for you, and I think for many teachers out there, I will make some more lessons about how to start class to do it effectively. Is that okay? Okay. And Simone says, "What do you think about rules for online teaching? Any suggestions for those? I'm just an aide, but I feel the kids never participate. Could there be rules set up for that?" I think they definitely can. Um, so something you might have realized, Simone, is that I think if you're new to this, it's very important to have rules. But when teachers become more experienced and they're better at handling students and enforcing those rules, they hardly ever even use the rules because it comes across naturally. Now, for online, it's no different. I think if you are used to, in my online classes, I never set up rules, but I'm constantly checking on the students. I'm constantly asking them questions. I'm training them without giving them rules. But that said, I think I would start, if I were to start and I'm new to teaching, I would start with a list of rules. Be on your mic. If I ask you a question, I expect you to answer immediately. And also you have to set up your activities that they're forced to participate. Because I think if students just sit there and they get used to not answering, that's a really bad way for them to actually learn not to participate. So in my classrooms, in my online classes, I try not to do a lot of talking. I do explaining, but I'm constantly calling on students, and we're doing a ton of activities so that they do it. Hi, Mom. Good to see you. Yeah. Nazi, read the book First Days of School. Better if review it. Yeah, Nazi, that's a good idea. Another book to read. Wow, I actually read a lot of books, but recently I haven't been reading that much. Another that's so Simone, that's exactly how your classes are. The students aren't participating. Yeah, I would definitely say start questioning them. And if they don't question, I always make a little mark. If they don't participate, I look at them and I make a mark. And then at the end of class, I would actually talk to them. I would say, okay, guys, I want you to participate. Jenny, you're a bit too slow. I want you to try more in class. So be like that mom. Be that figure that actually just, you're not getting angry at them, you're not punishing them, but you're telling them, listen, this is wrong and this is my expectation of you, if that makes sense. Is always taking, yeah, that's the biggest problem. The Okay, so recently, I had a lot of arguments, and Nazi, I'll get back to that book now. Sorry about this. I'm constantly talking about new things. So Simone, I've actually had this big argument with the professors at my school. We've got a Facebook group, and one of the professors said, okay, here is the debate. Uh, Online classes or recording a video. And you know how I feel about online classes. I'm having a fantastic time. I'm doing lots of fun activities with the students. I'm getting to know them and we're building a relationship. And like I said, I'm not doing a lot of talking. I'm just like boom, boom, boom. But you have to start your class off by talking to show them that you are the authority figure. And that is important. But throughout the class, I'm just asking them questions and getting them to talk. So in this group, I said, yeah, no, I love online teaching, but a lot of the teachers are so, that they don't want to do online classes. They'd rather just videotape themselves and talk and put them out to the students. And they even ask the students, listen, do you want online classes or do you want video recordings? And the students say, video recordings. And so I'm getting to the point now, because the thing is, I tell them, if you are a kid and a teacher tells you, do you want to play on the monkey bars and if you want to watch a video, or do you want to sit for an hour with me where I challenge you, ask you questions, force you to participate with other students, then obviously they're going to learn more in the online teaching, but obviously they're going to say, no, I want to play on the monkey bars, I'll watch your video later. And that's been a pain point for me. And the thing that people don't know, especially teachers don't know, is there's a thing. So I do YouTube videos, like and on YouTube you can see a viewer duration, a viewer retention, and that means how long do we stay engaged with the content. And you'll find it yourself, is you watch a video and you get bored and you click away. And it's the same with online teaching. You want to keep them engaged. That's why you should have short activities between. Even when you explain things, you're going to keep it shorter. Now you have to remember, with online teaching, they are looking at a screen. They aren't even in class where they have to kind of like act like they're focusing. They're in front of a TV screen in which they're used to just looking at the screen, watching TV, relaxing, playing games. So what you have to do is you have to be even better at getting their attention. And the best way to do that is short activities. When you speak, keep it short and to the point. Continuously ask them questions during it. So I would be doing a lecture. I'll be like, oh, what do you say? Oh, okay. What do you think about this? I ask them questions because it keeps them on their toes. I think that's what I want to get at. Okay, let's read a little. Nazi, I'm badly missing the physical environment of my schools, my students, all those joys we celebrate together. I wish we could get some strict rules for Corona also. Yeah, no, I totally get what you mean. I think, Nazi, what's your school level again? Your grade level? Elementary school, and do you teach younger students or a little bit older? Because man, when I was teaching public school, I used to love those special days, that routine, seeing the kids, even birthdays. I'd love to wish the kids happy birthday every time I could, and lunches, periods. Yeah, it's something really special, whereas now we're apart from each other. And that's why I like online teaching, because it's not the same as being there with them, but you get to see them and talk with them and build a relationship. And Carlos says, ideas of games to engage children during classes online on Zoom. When they're older, I find easier, but with the younger ones, it's harder because they still lose focus easily. Carlos, you are in luck. This is actually going to be for the next 2 weeks, because I noticed that this is a big difficulty, a big problem for many teachers. Online teaching is new. I think maybe 2 or 3 years ago, online teaching for ESL started, and you'll have some kind of online teaching. But now with this I shouldn't say the word, but coronavirus, teachers, thousands and thousands of teachers are being forced to do online teaching. There are no manuals. There's no one talking about it. There are no activities or ideas. Fortunately, on YouTube, I've seen some teachers talking about it. And my job for the next 2 weeks is that I'm going to start showing you games to play and how to keep things fresh on Zoom. Now, first, this Wednesday, I will show you an activity that you can use with the whiteboard. But I've also got some ideas for what you can use with younger students. Remember, with younger students on Zoom, they're sitting the whole time, so you want to get them active. So ask them to actually act things out. So I would do things like charades. So you can send a private message to a student. You say, okay, act like a fish, and they have to act like a fish, and they have to guess. Or you can tell them, okay, you can put them into different groups too, and you can go into a group and you can tell them, okay, think of an activity or make a list of 10 activities. Then you put them into another group where they have to act it out with a partner, and the partner has to guess. Yeah, outline teaching games for high school students, definitely. I think the thing with online teaching is, I think, like you said, with older students, it's easier because you can include word games and puzzles and things. But with younger students, we have to get more creative. We're going to have to use more pictures and video, more activities, more actions. I think it's very important. Yeah, and also whiteboard, you can use them to draw things, right? So you can tell students to go flashcards. My dad just said flashcards are very useful. If you don't have flashcards, I would 100% suggest getting some. I had a big box. The company I went to, they've got this big program where they've got books and flashcards called Bumblebee. It's from a company called Compass Publishing. That's who I work for, and they've got a series called Bumblebee. If you can, just go to a stationery shop and get flashcards. I think that's a great idea by my dad. Thanks, Dad. And I also made a video on flashcard games you can use, but that's better for the classroom. I'll definitely do. I saw some rewards system for teaching online, and that was all new to me. That is fantastic. That's another idea I have. That's called Class Dojo. Class Dojo, and you even get an app, because if you have the app on your phone where you can get a reward system, you can actually. And I'm going to do a video on this in the future. I know I keep on saying it, but it's just because I've been so busy. These last few weeks, but now for the next 2 weeks, I'm only going to focus on Zoom games for teachers. Tatiana said, do you use Edpuzzle sites? I've been looking into some sites. What's that site called? There are some sites where you can put tests or puzzles or games. I haven't looked at them in depth, but it's something I'll do in the future. Tatiana, do you know any sites that you use? I forgot the name of the one a lot of people suggested. So yeah, I think for the next few weeks, I will make activities for teachers for Zoom. That's going to be the main thing. I'll focus on young students, high school and adult, and I'd also look at some of these sites that we can use, Edpuzzle, and also, hi Martin, good to see you. Martin has a website called ELT Experiences. He also shares a lot of online content. You should check him out. Carlos, yeah, and then the main one, that Class Dojo, is excellent for younger students, because you're able to, so you make your class list and you give them rewards and they can see it. And you can also share that with the students and with the teachers. They can pick their own avatars. I think another thing you can do is let them draw you pictures. I think with younger students, have some activities. You get out the whiteboard, you say, okay, you and your partner draw me, or draw your favorite animal, and then when they come back, you say, okay, share screen, tell us about your animal. Or you put them into groups and say, okay, guys, I want you to draw me a nice house together, and then tell you about the different rooms of the house. But remember, when you teach, hi, Julie, good to see you. I felt so bad. Last week I spoke to you, and I always ask you, oh, what students do you teach? And you always tell me. So I was like, Eric, you have to remember this time. Hi, Julie. How are you doing? Okay, Nazif says, I teach young students and they must be missing my storytelling. Storytelling was a bridge between me and my students. We don't have online classes because the students don't have access to internet. Oh, Nazi, that's so sad. Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're a storyteller. I think, what is successful between most teachers, the most successful teachers are good storytellers. Yeah, I remember I had this thing, I was teaching high school, and I had this thing that every week I would start class by telling an interesting story. And I would make up some weird, fantastic story based in, my real life experiences. And I would just tell the students the story at the start, and they loved it because, yeah, it's an easy way to start class. It got them to calm down. It got them to listen. I can ask them questions afterwards, and I enjoyed that. Yeah. So your young students, do you know when you will see them again, Nazi? I think it's. Do you know when it's going to start up again? I want to quickly look at Tatiana's Ed Puzzle website because I know there are a few that are really good. Ed Puzzle, interactive video lessons. Okay. Okay, so choose a video, give it to your student touch, and track your students' comprehension. Okay, I'll look into this a little bit later. It looks kind of cool. Okay, yeah, Martin, yeah. Okay, anybody else got any questions that they want to talk about? Because, I came back from Seoul, and this is my first day that I had nothing to do. I shot one video with my students that I will release on maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. I finished editing it about a whiteboard game that you can use and actually helping students to use Zoom better too. Because you have to remember that we as teachers, we're new to Zoom. So we have to think of different ways to use it, different games and activities to do. So I'll share all my ideas and activities with you, but it's also new to the students. So we have to try and teach them in a fun way that get them to interact with the site too. So I use a lot of break rooms. I tell the students to share screen. Every week I tell them to share something. Migam, hi. Yeah, actually, yeah, Migam, today I told myself because every week I've got a specific topic, and this week I decided, listen, I'm always prepared for a topic. Why not just come out here and chat for a little bit, if that's okay? Flipgrid, I've heard about. I'm struggling to remember another one too. Tatiana, what do you do with Flipgrid? Or what is good about that? Yeah, Migam, so if you have any questions, you can ask me. Martin, yeah, we are in the same position as the students. We are also learning about Zoom and how to use it. But I want to say one thing is that we should still be the leaders. So we should always be one step in front of the students, one step ahead of the students, and actually be learning how to use more things. And I guess that's why you guys are here. You're also looking for ways to talk about teaching and to find ideas. And I'm super excited about this. Guys, do you realize where we are? We're at when online teaching just started. So we are the ones actually going to be taking this, taking the first steps. And we can be the ones that, put out content and teach about this. Look, if you learn how to teach while online, and you can show that to other teachers, suddenly you take up a level, where other teachers might have had more experience, be much older. Now you are the first person or the best person to talk about online teaching activities to use, how to interact with the students. Oh, yeah. And so another thing I've got is for Friday. Well, I'm planning it for Friday. On Thursday, I shot a whole class of mine. So I shot the class and I showed the activities I do, and I talk about how to teach online. I've shot it 3 times. The first time the audio didn't work. The second time, I think there was something wrong with the video. And then finally I shot it the third time, and now I just have to edit out the boring parts and put it out. So I'll definitely do that for Friday, where I put out a very long video of me teaching. One thing I can tell you about online teaching is that it's very valuable. Obviously, it will never replace real life teaching, but we have a lot to learn because you can practice how to keep students engaged and you don't have to worry about classroom management. But this is bringing out a whole new phase called online management. I would write a book, but man, that's going to take so much time to write a book about online management. So instead, I'll just make short videos about teaching about it, and we'll see about the future. Yeah, and okay, so Tatiana, I asked them to share a video with me and leave a comment under the one they liked. I use it for assessment. Okay, very interesting. So they share a video with you and leave a comment, and to leave a comment underneath. Okay, a very useful tool for assessment. See, that's another thing a lot of people are worrying about. Don't worry, I'm wearing pants or shorts. Um, I'm not in my boxes. But so Tatiana, this is a very important topic many people are talking about, especially at my university. They think they might extend online teaching indefinitely for the semester, which means that we have to find a way to actually assess the students. So now we're looking at plenty of different ways of how can you test students and assess them online. I think what's easy is with Zoom, a lot of my assessments for midterms are one-on-one interviews. So that's very easy. I prepare them beforehand and then we've got the one-on interview. We've also got pair interviews, which will be easy. I'm preparing my students for that this week and they will do it 3 weeks later. I will put them with a partner. I will tell them to create a conversation and then they will do it in front of me. So I think that's easy, but it becomes difficult when you have to do writing exams and also listening. We usually did a listening test. That's going to be a little bit more difficult if you have too many students. Okay, Martin says, do you think that teacher talk can be different? It can be different during the various stages of the lesson. Also, natural conversation is different to instruction when we have to keep it simple. I use office forms for my assessing grammar awareness with my university students. Okay, that's interesting. The office forms. I'm not sure about that. That sounds interesting. So you've got, your what is it, Google Docs that you share with them, and then they write in there. Is that what you're talking about for their grammar? You're sharing grammar activities with them, Martin? Yeah. Okay. What is my motto to live by? Work hard, play hard. No, no, Dongan. I'm not sure. My motto right now is uh, yeah. Well, it's probably something about hard work because I'm working very hard at the moment, and I like it to be focused. I think uh, one that I will, if I had to make up a quote on this moment, I would say, yeah, focus gives you clarity, and clarity gives you purpose. I guess I just made that up, by the way. It just means that we have to start working, and once you start working, you'll start figuring out goals, and once you have goals, that makes you kind of happy. But I think it's a really sad life if you live without goals or without plans or without things to do for the future. And I think Martin, you can probably talk about this too. I think guys, we should always have some kind of project to work on, whether it be for our classes, whether it be for teaching online for our classes on there. For me, it's been either I write a book or I'm planning some kind of speech or I'm doing online videos for YouTube. We should always have something that we're working towards. I think, yeah, so that's very important. Okay, Dongan, amazing mind one is don't procrastinate today's food until tomorrow. Very nice. Yeah, I think especially these days, a lot of people have difficulty with procrastination. Me too. I've been getting better at it, but it's still difficult. Now, what you can do about procrastination, if you do, because listen, being motivated and having purpose, it's a skill. You have to practice. You have to practice working hard. You just don't wake up and be like, oh, I'm Elon Musk. I'm going to work 20 hours a day. No, that's cultivated. You work. Okay, I'm going to do this today. I'm going to do this. Tatiana, explore, prepare, do. Oh, that's a nice motto. Explore, prepare, do. Yeah, I think everybody should be more prepared. Okay, Martin says, I use Google Docs for written feedback, Microsoft Forms for test, and then I got my learners to create podcasts for speaking, a balance between synchronous and asynchronous teaching. Very nice. That's great. I think what I've been using mainly, because I'm also new to this, I like the idea of podcasts for them for speaking, but for me, I do. I do a flipped classroom where I actually prepare the students. I send them the grammar we're going to do, the pages they have to prepare. I send them a short video talking about the topics, explaining some things, but it's very short because you have to remember that students aren't going to watch a 40-minute video. That's what I was saying before about viewer retention. People don't have the focus to watch something for 40 minutes. So I give them maybe 5 to 10-minute videos explaining everything, giving them their activities. What I would ask them to do is to take short videos with their phones. I can ask them to record things too. I think I'll do that too. The problem with those types of things is that, they just they take the Korean, they translate it into English, and they just read everything. And there's not much skill in that. But like you said, if they have podcasts or if they're talking with a friend, what I would ask them to do, so I'm working up to it, but what I'm going to ask them to do more is to have conversations with a friend. Maybe they can quickly they can do a voice call, record it, and then they can talk. That might be. Find a how-to video is useful. Definitely how-to videos for learning how to do things. The problem with teaching online right now is that there aren't great videos about it out there. So with you guys, I'm so glad I'm talking. Guys, by the way, I'm just giving you I'm just giving you my ideas, but I need your questions to actually get my brain to work. So we're doing this together. We're really, by talking with you, I'm learning things too. I'm thinking of new ideas, and hopefully I can make videos that I can put out that information that's easier to digest and maybe a little bit more thought out. But I want to say thank you so much for helping me, because otherwise I wouldn't know what to say. So it's good to have people to push you, and I think it's the same with students too. So what I think in Korea we've got Kakao, but WhatsApp, you can let them WhatsApp call each other. Obviously they might write down. What I would tell them is to write down some ideas of what I want them to talk about. So for example, if the topic is the future, I would give them a future tense. So let's say it's I will, I'm going to. I can give them a few examples. I will say, okay, I want you to talk about next week, next month, next year, tomorrow. And then just have one activity that you're going to do that you're going to say for both. So instead of them writing out everything, you can actually get them to just answer the simple questions. Because if you give them an activity that's too broad, talk about what you're going to do in the future, they're going to, freeze. So what you do is you give them an activity. They have to talk with a partner, and they call each other, they press record, they have the conversation, they have those bullet points. What do I want you to talk about? They've got an example of the grammar on top. I will, I am going to. And then they have to practice saying those for the different days. They record it, they send it to you. And because they're working with another partner, you don't have to, if you've got 20 students in your class, you're only listening to 10 short audio clips. Okay, Martin says, I'm currently cooking shin ramyeon and might try buldak bokkeumyeon. Excellent. So those are two great Korean foods. Shin ramen, yeah, that's a very spicy ramen. It's also my favorite. It's usually red or black. It's very spicy. I think I've got one there in my cupboard. Let me quickly go get it and I'll show people. There we go. Okay. I hope nobody left. So this is called Shin Ramen. You can see it there. Now I'm actually getting hungry for it. I bought this maybe a couple of months ago because I was in the mood. I never got to eat it. Yeah, so this is Shin Ramen. This is what it looks like. It also comes in black, and it's very popular, especially among students. Martin, what you should do with ramen is you should boil it in a pot. You can add egg. You can add maybe some mandu or what is it called again? Mandu. Uh, what's mandu? If anybody's there, what's mandu again in English? Wow, what is mandu again? Anyway, just have a blank. And so, or you put in some small sausages or some meat, mix it all up. It's fantastic. And buldak bokkeumyeon is also spicy chicken noodles, I guess. Scaffolding is great, and many students need that helping hand. Exactly. So what I was talking about before is called scaffolding. It's basically if you've got activities, you have to prepare your students for success by giving them step by step, telling them step by step what to do, instructions. Okay, and Nazar. Hi, Nazar. Nazar is one of the guys that's been here the longest. Always like seeing Nazar. Hi. How can we correct written assignments? Any practical ideas? So, is it for if it's online when they send it to you? Um, yeah, I guess if they send you written assignments, if they email it to you, or they use Google Docs, I think the best thing is, well, you've got Word, so you can spell check it, and when you fix things, fix it in a different color, maybe in red. Um, yeah, or just underline them, I think. I'll think about it a little bit more. Actually, I've been asked a lot about doing uh, writing activities because I've covered speaking activities, listening, reading. I still need to do a writing activity. It's not one of my strongest suits. I mean, I don't really do that much, like especially creative writing where I work now. But I do know some professors that I work with that are fantastic at it, and I want to meet up with them and get some more ideas. I've got some ideas, but I want to really get it right. So yeah, Nazar, that's what I would suggest. Carlos says, I'm online class using gestures has become more useful. I'm learning how to show I'm listening, to invite, yeah, give immediate feedback. It definitely is. So Carlos is basically saying that he's learning all these new skills from online teaching. And that's something I 100% agree with, because most people, they are very stuck in their ways. They're very resistant to something new. So you would say, okay, there's online teaching, real life teaching. And the very first thing they would do is be negative towards online teaching. They would say, no, it's horrible. Real life teaching is so much better. When they're probably the ones that don't even try online teaching. Whereas what we're doing right now, the majority of us, we go into online teaching and we think, okay, what am I learning? I'm learning new ways to communicate. I'm getting the students to gesture, or I'm starting to gesture more. I'm getting the students to participate, because you have to keep their attention and keep them on their toes. Otherwise, you lose them. Yeah, Carlos, definitely. And also immediate feedback. This is something a lot of people don't understand, is why it's good to do online teaching is because let's say you've got 10 students and a student makes a mistake. Afterwards, you can give them immediate feedback. And you know what? The rest of the students hear that and they learn from it too. So this is a fantastic motto too, but a saying is, as a teacher, we should remember that every mistake is a teaching opportunity. If a student makes a mistake, if like in real life school, if a student makes a mistake, they do something wrong, you say, okay, class, listen, this is what they did, this is what is wrong, this is what they should do. Right. So every moment is a teaching opportunity. So if a student makes an error, if they do something, you say, okay, guys, this is what I expect from you. So you're helping them. Who else do we have? Tatiana, yummy for Tommy. I don't know what that is. Yummy for Tommy. Yes, they screen it. Okay, so okay. So they screenshot it. So NASA, they do. Oh, so okay. So NASA, they're writing, and then they send you a screenshot, and you can fix it. The best thing to use is the annotate tool, and then you can also write and fix it. And the beautiful thing, once again, is if you are fixing someone's writing, let's say you're doing it online, and the students are watching, the other students can also learn from it. Just like Carlos said, Um, they get immediate feedback. They see what the mistake is, and the other students can also see what's going on. So that's great. Okay, add comments to Microsoft Word after reviewing. Yeah, that's also very useful, Martin. You actually have the comments that you can put after. Okay, but NASA asked the best question. He always asks the best questions. Um, uh, NYE Kenki. Hi, I'm from South Africa. Thank you for joining us. NASA, great question, as always. You always have the best questions. That's what I do, but what should I focus on? Okay, it depends what level they are. If focus on what they need, especially if they make a lot of mistakes. You're going to want to focus on the most important ones. The big grammar mistakes that they make, if it's really obvious, if they use the wrong verb for plurals, if there's a word that they should be able to spell, if it's not a difficult word, if it's an easy one, or you see it's not a typo, it's actually they misspelled it. That's something you can work on. I would also try and work on how they actually, the structure of the writing is very important for me. That's something I'm like a robot that I love structure. I love structure in my teaching. I love structure in how the students should do presentations, and I love structure with writing. So you want them to make sure that they've got the right writing structure. They've got the introduction. They've got a couple of paragraphs for their body where they talk, they give the main points and the ideas, and they elaborate on it, and then they've got the inclusion. So make sure they've got their structure right, because once they understand how writing should happen, then it'll be a lot better. So make sure they have their paragraphs right. So then after that, yeah, focus on the grammar. The grammar is important that you can teach, especially important grammar. And then spelling errors, don't focus on typos that much. You can just, fix that. And then if they use basic words, maybe give them some alternate words they can use, some examples of better words that they can use. Now, for language teaching, depending on the level of your students, you can teach them better words to use. Like in Korea, they say delicious the whole time for food, but there are actually so many different words they could be using instead. Okay, NASA is a female teacher. NASA, you know what? Yeah, it doesn't really matter to me. But in my head, I always, yeah, doesn't matter to me. But it's good to know. Migam, let's see. I was searching some sample writing activities for ESL, but apparently there aren't many compared to other skills activities. So I'm just coming up with my own ideas. Okay, Migam, I'm going to make that video. It's very high on the order. Migam asked me about it, and somebody else actually today asked me about it too. So it looks like a lot of people are asking about writing activities. So I guess I'll start working on it soon. Yeah, Migam, I think the best thing you want to start with writing activities, depending on your student's level, is come from experience. So, if you ask them to suddenly start writing about something they have no idea about, that's going to be difficult for them. So they will probably use ideas that they see in their lives, or from movies that they watch, or characters that they follow. So I think the most important thing is, especially when they're younger, is try and give them something to work with. Now, what you can do, once again, scaffolding, you can ask them to draw a picture of something, and then they can start writing about that. You can also practice different grammar points too that you want them to write about. But yeah, like I said, I want to be sure about this writing activity on what to write about. Yeah, I think start small. I think a big mistake we do in many activities is we try and make it very advanced very quickly. So you can start very small with sentences they can write out. You show them a picture and you say, okay, write a picture of a cat. And you say, okay, write a sentence about this cat. And they write, there is a black cat. Okay, now let's make it a little bit more difficult. What do you think the cat is doing? There is a black cat chasing a mouse. Okay, and then you say, okay, well, let's write a second sentence about that. Where are they going? Okay, or where are they going? Or why is he chasing him? Or what does the mouse look like? So then you're actually building it up. So I think start very small and then help them actually write a little bit more. Once they've got those basics done, then you're going to want to think of what topics to write about. And I've always, I saw this. One of the teachers suggested he's got this big cube, and he puts like different words on each or different ideas, and he rolls it, and then they have to kind of make up a story as they go. He's got these giant cubes, and they would have different parts of speech on it, or they would have different words on it, and different, let's say, times. And then so you've got different times, you've got different words, you roll it, and they suddenly have to use those basic words to write a story. I really like that, and maybe I can share some more ideas for writing in the future. Okay, Carlos, you have a lot to do in the. Carlos, yeah, it's funny. 3 weeks ago, I had so much to do. I had two webinars that I had to do for this company. I had my Zoom. Actually, I finished with the Zoom. That was the biggest thing. I had my Zoom course. I made a Zoom course for Udemy with Christina, and we put it out. We're waiting for it to be released, and I'll make that free for the first couple of weeks. So if you guys want to check that out and leave me a good review, I'll appreciate that. And I had all my videos that I had to shoot for Zoom along with my online classes. And now suddenly I'm done with everything. And now I'm like, okay, what do I have to do now? And I thought, okay, I don't have a lot. But now I'm starting to write down, man, I've got a lot of videos to make. But it's exciting. I'm very happy that if I can help. Okay, Tatiana, Naza is a female teacher. That's why her questions are always the smartest. This is actually what she wanted to say. Okay. See, Tatiana, now you explained it to me too. I just thought, oh, okay. There we go. So yeah, Naza always has the best questions, and she says, I'm a female teacher. That's why. Okay. No, it makes sense. I just wanted to say, okay. That's so funny. Thank you for explaining it to me, Tatiana. Okay. And then she says, my mom says, goodbye, everyone. Thanks, Mom, for watching. Tatiana, I mentioned that because Eric... Oh, okay. See, this is like Inception. I've got one idea, and she tells me, I'm actually female because I always tell her he. And you tell me, it's because she's female that she has good questions. And I'm like, mind blow. And then Naza comes, no, it's just because Eric calls me a guy the whole time. Yeah, so I apologize, Naza, but I still appreciate the good questions. Yeah, everyone, so I think let's almost finish now. Actually, this was fantastic. Thank you so much for this chat. Carlos, Naza, Tatiana, and Martin, thank you so much for all these comments. I thought this is the first time I came into a Sunday night talk, and I had no ideas. And Migam, you too. And I had no idea of what I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to chat. And it turns out this is maybe one of the longest ones we have, just because I had such a good time chatting with you. Yeah, so guys, one last thing you want to talk about. For me, so this week, I'm going to get back into exercising at the gym because I don't have to worry about too much work anymore. So I'm going to be hitting the gym every week. But I want to do a quick video. Some people have told me, Eric, stop making videos about education and do like a day in the life video, almost like a vlog. I'm really not too interested in vlogs. I'm not very good at it, but I think maybe I'll make a video of me going to the gym and then going and eating something, and then, I guess something like that, just to see if people like that. And then, yeah, obviously a lot of other things. And yummy for Tommy means very. Okay. I thought, Tatiana, I thought you were talking about a new like website or app that I didn't know about. Yummy for Tommy, some kind of English teaching app where they talk about foods. Yummy for Tommy, I've never heard that before. But interesting. I might start using it and seeing if it catch on. Big data. Yeah, thank you for your question at the start, Big data. Okay, so with your students, yeah, I would suggest restarting with them, telling them that it's not working, and then you're going to want to. It's students aren't going to go from. So now, let's say your class has started. A big data. How long have you had your classes? I'm guessing a couple of months. So let's say it started out. They're listening to you, but it's getting. It's getting worse, 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 worse. And now suddenly you want them to be here. That's not going to happen. What I would suggest is your class has got worse. They're not listening to you. Cut it off. Tell them, okay, guys, from now on, these are the rules I have. No walking around, no shouting at anyone. When I'm speaking, nobody interrupts me. No standing up, no throwing. These are the rules and these are the consequences. That's what's going to happen. Does everybody understand? Make them understand. Write only 5 of the rules on top of the board, explain them, and then don't expect them to suddenly be good. Of course, they're going to keep on, they're going to be good for a little bit, and then they're going to try and challenge you again. And then you're just going to say to yourself, okay, I'm retraining them, I'm getting them to be good again. Okay. Oh, it's an idiom. Okay, good. Yeah, Merle, thank you for coming in. Yeah, no, it's just me talking about stuff. And thank you so much for being here watching. Everyone, I really appreciate it. I'll put out a video maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, and then the next one 2 days later. I like to have a video every 2 days, so hopefully those help. Okay, everyone, have a good day. Have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.